For the 100% cheapest coins on the internet with reliable delivery and quick customer support, check out my sponsor MMOEXP by clicking the link at the top of the description and use code SWIFT at checkout for 5% off. Social family, and today I'm coming back at you guys with another Madden 21 video on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the fastest way to complete the new Midnight Morph house rules. These house rules are really unique. Obviously you're going to be playing with big and small players on your team, and there's a lot of different complexities and nuances to these house rules. I was able to play through all of them and get all 25 wins in about 2.5 hours, and I picked up a lot of helpful tips that I want to share with you guys live in the video. I have about 10 things I want to go over, including some tips on offense and some tips on defense to help you knock out these house rules as quickly as possible and just win more games when you're playing these house rules. Now, before we hop into this video, I want to quickly thank you guys for all the support on the channel the past couple of uploads. I was reflecting on my journey on YouTube last night, looking like this guy while I was just chilling in bed, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support. If you do enjoy today's video, leave a like down below, and obviously if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, hit that sub button. We post videos daily helping you build the best Madden Ultimate team possible. Yesterday I actually dropped a method showing you how to make 500,000 coins very easily. If you haven't yet checked that out, I will leave that linked in the description. But without further ado, let's hop into this video and let's hop into some tips to help you out with these new house rules. Now, to start this video off, I want to briefly overview all of my house rules tips, and then we'll actually hop into a game and apply them on offense and defense. So starting it off, let's go over my offensive tips. Now, tip number 1 is never throw the ball to one of the big players or one of the small players. For some reason, they do not catch the ball on offense, so don't waste your time throwing it to the big players or the small players. Now, the second tip is if my opponent comes out in zone coverage, I like to run the football, and if they come out in man coverage, I like to pass the ball. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh, I can't pass the ball on mid blitz. I actually have a play that you can use to get one play touchdowns against mid blitz very, very easily. But yeah, against the zone defense, if I see they've been running a zone or I think they're going to run a zone, audible into a run play, your running back is incredibly glitchy. He's really small and really fast, so it actually is really effective to run the ball. And then if I go up against man coverage, I have a couple plays that I'll show you guys to absolutely toast up man, and I love to throw the ball against man because generally zone coverage isn't great for run defense, and generally man coverage is really good at run defense, so we kind of want to go against the weakness of our opponent's defense. So if it's a zone, you run the ball. If it is a man, you pass the football. Now let's talk about defense and go over a couple of tips before we actually hop into the video. Now on defense, I really like running nickel sets. I will either run mid blitz if I know my opponent's not able to beat that play, or if they are able to beat the play, I will come out in cover 1 robber out of nickel, and what I'm going to do is use her as the really big middle linebacker. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me great run defense and great pass defense. I actually have a play I can show you guys to almost get instant sacks with that big middle linebacker. You can get a bunch of interceptions with him. He actually catches the ball really well on defense for some reason. On offense, he doesn't catch the ball, but on defense, he will catch the ball a ton for me. And a glitch that I actually found is if I get a pick with my big middle linebacker, you start showboating by holding the left trigger, and he gets a speed boost. He will run by literally everyone for a pick 6. So if you get a pick with that guy, it is basically GG's. Now, just a little bit of etiquette before we hop into this game right here and actually show off these tips in action is if you get scored on, quit out of the game. If you throw an interception, quit out of the game. Vice versa. If I end up getting a pick, I'm expecting my opponent to quit. If I end up getting a touchdown, I'm expecting my opponent to quit. We want these house rules games to go decently quickly, so have a bit of etiquette. If you end up getting scored on, quit out of the game and hop into a new one. If you throw a pick, quit out of the game and hop into a new one, and I would expect my opponent to do the exact same thing if we get into that situation. So starting this one off, we are on defense. I always love to start on defense, and what I'm going to do is call this play cover 1 hole, but we're going to flip it. So click R2 and then call cover 1 hole. Now my setup for this play is very simple. I will press and I will shade over top. So triangle left stick down and then triangle right stick up. I am using as this big monster. He is my user every single play. He is very, very fast out there on the field. So we're going to be able to shoot any runs, and if they do decide to pass the football, then we have one of the best users in the game. As you can see, they went for the RPO on that play. That's actually a pretty solid decision. We're going to keep that in the back of our mind. We'll probably use that on the next play. We've got them in a 3rd down and 5 situation right here. I'm really looking to just make a turnover on offense. Now, one little tip that I want to give you guys is if you want a user rush with this player, you can actually get a super effective user blitz. I'm not going to do that here just because I want to kind of see what my opponent is running, as they do have that slant route coming open to Reggie Wayne. So what we're going to do on the next play is we're going to user rush. I want to show you guys what it looks like to user rush with this guy. It's actually really effective and really glitchy. I played against someone who did this, and really all they did is stood over here on this far side of the field, and the second the ball gets snapped, you're going gonna rush with your guy. The majority of the time, you're not even gonna get touched. As you can see, we're coming out in man coverage. We got a very easy pick 6 right there. Can we get a little stop and go on Russell Wilson? We're almost able to get the stop and go. We get to play a little bit of offense. I'm assuming this person's gonna quit out right here. That's the beauty of man coverage. You're gonna get a lot of interceptions by coming out in man. It looks like he's not gonna quit. I'll show you guys one of my favorite plays to run at the start. It is out of the strong H slot. We're gonna be calling the stretch alert bubble, and we're just going to run this ball. It looks like my opponent's coming out in mid blitz. If they're coming out in mid blitz, we probably can pass it. Obviously, if we're further backwards, it's a lot easier to bomb this play for a one play TD. I'll show you guys exactly how that works a little bit later, but we get to the edge with a little running back, and just like that, we're in for a score. We should be getting a rage quit from our opponent right here, and that is how you beat these house rules very easily. Play some good defense, and then call that stretch play on offense. Obviously, there's a lot more I want to show you guys in the video, some other concepts on defense and offense, so stick around. We're going to hop into another game, and hopefully I can show you guys a couple more tactics. So hopping into this game here, we loaded up against the same opponent, and I'm going to show you guys a play to beat this mid blitz. I know he's running mid blitz because he did that last time. The play I'm going to run is go double post out of the gun trips Y flex. Now, the setup is very simple for this play. All I do is I block my running back, and I slant X. Now, depending on the way they run mid blitz, sometimes you can actually get a one play touchdown with this play. I don't think he's running it the right way. If they press, you can actually put O on a fade route, and he will get open every single time. As you can see, we're gonna hit O right there in the little seam. That's my favorite route to throw. That post route is rarely covered by a user. They actually switched into a cover 3 right there. So yeah, assuming they stay in the same play, we're gonna either hit O or we're gonna hit X. The reads are very simple. If it's man coverage, we're looking for either of those guys. If it's a zone coverage, one of them is gonna get open as well. Sometimes I'll put R1 on a hitch, so triangle R1, R2, and my reads are simple. As you can see, X is coming open over the middle of the field. We throw that route, we pick up the very easy yardage. I can hurry this ball up. The reads are going to be the exact same. I'm looking for X or I'm looking for O. One of those two routes is going to come open. Depending on where my opponent users, I can see his user all the way on the left side. He is not going to be able to get over to that route to Reggie Wayne. We can throw that route against mid blitz every single time. As long as you block your running back, you're going to have the time in the pocket. Make that throw to the post every time. If they end up using that route, make the throw to Tony Gonzalez. It is a very simple 2-read system. If they confuse you and they come out in zone, that's why we put R1 on the hitch. So we're literally just looking for any of these routes to get open. As you can see, X is going to be wide open right there. He switched into a zone. It doesn't make a difference. This play is going to cook up every single defense. Now, what I'm going to do is quickly audible back into the run. The run play does work pretty well if they're coming out in this double A gap, especially the run play that I showed you guys last time. It's going to be the same one out of the strong formation. I can tell my opponent's going to be sending a little bit of heat off the right edge. We'll see if we can get outside. If we can with this running back, he's usually pretty effective as he actually does play some pretty solid defense. If you do see the opponent playing good defense, you can audible into this play PAFB flat. This play is also super effective. All I'm going to do is block my running back. I prefer to run this play to the right side. The reason why is so I can have Reggie Wayne on the post route. We never throw it to the big guy, so you're not really going to be throwing it to square ever. So this way we have X and we have O, and we're really just reading either of those two players. As you can see, X is coming open in the back corner of the end zone, and that is a very easy dot. Those are literally the only 3 plays you guys need to run on offense. You can run that stretch, you can run that passing play, and then you can run that other passing play out of strong. It's going to confuse your opponent quite a bit if you run that scheme. Now on offense here, when we're going for our 2-point conversion, I don't really want to get too risky. If nothing comes open, I'm literally just going to take the sack, because if you throw a pick, you end up giving away some points, so it looks like nothing's going to be all that open. We'll just hit Tony Gonzalez underneath. He ends up dropping it. Don't worry about the 2-point conversions. You never really need those. As long as you score your touchdown and play good defense, you'll be absolutely fine. So back out on defense, we're running the exact same scheme that I shared with you guys before. This is cover 1 hole. We are pressing and shading over top. By shading over top, we're not really going to get beat deep on any routes. They can really throw any route, and they're not going to beat us deep because none of our corners are going to be pressing off the line. They're just going to be standing right in front of them, and then if they run a streak, they'll just run hip for hip with them. So cover 1 hole, flip the defense so that your user can be the monster, press, and then shade over top. I also like to pinch my defensive line. I'll show you guys what the user blitz looks like here. We'll see if we can loop around on this right edge. If you can loop around, you can get some really good pressure. As you can see, it makes it really hard for your opponent to make a throw because there's a big monster bearing down on them, so it's really, really confusing when you see the monster running off the edge. So sometimes I'll confuse my opponent and user blitz. Sometimes I'll stand here and pretend like I'm gonna user blitz, and then I just back out. and that's really all I'm doing on defense. We pretend like we're blitzing there, and we've got everything bagged. He's going to be throwing that route right over our head, and that is going to be dropped. We probably should have gotten a pick on that play, but 4th and 15, if we get a stop right here, I'd expect we get a rage quit. He's coming out in gun bunch. It doesn't really matter what formation they're coming out in, right? Because we're going to press, we're going to shade over top. The setup is the exact same. 4th down, as long as we can have a pretty solid user, we should be fine. He is throwing it over the middle of the field, and we give up a first down. We really give up a first down there. Come on, Ben. So after all that chipping away from my opponent, I'm not sure exactly how much I cut out, but he was throwing a lot of short passes. The real only message that I want to let you guys know is when your opponent is dinking and dunking a lot like this guy is, don't really worry about it that much, to be honest with you. You don't really need to worry about it a ton. Once they get close to the red zone, it gets super tough to get completions. As you can see, they move the ball really easily down the field on us, and then they get to the 25-yard line, and they get pretty stymied by our defense. So just stay in your pace shell. There is no reason to make any adjustments. As you can see, we have them in a situation where they just need to throw it up to the end zone, and we get a pick. We end off the game just like that. He makes the tackle. He's probably going to quit out. We're going to get 2 wins just like that in the video. That took us about 10 minutes to get 2 wins. It is that easy. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Went over a few plays to run on offense and a play to run on defense to help you out in this house rules, as well as just a couple of general tips when it comes to playing these games. So that's going to do it for me. Until next time, fellas, I'm out. Peace.
So slow, out.